Welcome to another edition of The Metal Voice.
The Metal Voice.
Jim, a new segment.
What is it?
Launching today on the show.
Yes.
6 broken bones of separated bones, where we go from one band to another band in 6 steps.
That's insanity.
And you have to try to find the connections.
Okay.
So I'm going to start it off.
Yes.
Jethro Tull.
Yeah.
To the Four Horsemen.
The Four Horsemen.
The Four Horsemen, an AC/DC rocking band from the late 80s. How do we go from Jethro Tull to the Four Horsemen? We'll let you think that one over. We'll give you the answer at the end of the show.
So we need GPS for this. No?
Also some very sad news. We're coming in a little late here, but back on July 16th, Jon Lord, organist, founder of Deep Purple, organist and the keyboardist extraordinaire, unfortunately passed away. He was suffering from cancer for a while now, and he gave up his struggle back on the 16th of July. We had to mention Jon Lord, an influential keyboardist. One of the things that he did, he had his Hammond organ, and to get that sound, he decided to bypass the speaker on the Hammond organ, which was his natural amplification. He said, what happens if I plug into all these Marshall amps that Blackmore and everybody else is using? And the sound that came out of that was an aggressive...
Space trucking.
He called it the Beast.
Yeah.
He took him 2 years to try to even control the sound. It was aggressive and powerful, and it was unlike anything that was ever heard from before.
Yeah.
Classically trained, went to college in the music conservatories there. Classically trained. So one of his biggest thing was, of course, the Concerto for Group and Orchestra. First performed at the Royal Albert Hall in 1969.
And think about it, in 1969, he was like the first real rocker to play with an orchestra.
Yeah, that's
what bands do today all the time, right?
And Metallica and S&M, everybody was freaking out. They did this way back in '69.
And the musicians, when he approached them originally, were hesitant. Like, wait a second, we can't mix classical music with rock and roll.
Yeah.
And they even videotaped this, and you can actually watch it.
And it was actually repeated again in 1999.
Yeah.
Again, a major player in Deep Purple. Went on when he left the band, or the band broke up after the Mach 3 version. Went to join David Coverdale's Whitesnake. And just an influential musician. You can listen to their early stuff, Jim, in Deep Purple, and you can see how influential he was. And just a sad passing. He was a very... he played with Gotthard recently in the late 2000s.
Rick Wakeman.
Deep Purple, that was the beauty of it. I mean, he came from a more classical background, and Roger Glover came from more of a pop, soul, R&B influence, and Ian Pace was a jazz, so he was a big Buddy Rich fan. He came from more jazz and swing beat, and of course Blackmore was influenced by Hendrix, but he also liked Renaissance music, so... that's what fitted in and made them all so special.
Space Trucking, which was basically his sound.
Yeah.
The intro was his sound.
And the beauty of Deep Purple, early Deep Purple, was of course with Richie Blackmore, the give and take between organ and guitar, the call and response, back and forth. One trying to outdo, because they were great musicians. They were always trying to outdo each other, which just brought up the level of the music to a higher level.
Yeah, and basically Highway Star is a perfect example of going back and forth between organ and guitar.
So unfortunately, Jon Lord passed away. I think he was 71 years old. Born in June 9th, 1941, and unfortunately passed away on the 16th of July, 2012. So,
all right, well,
that's our dedication to Jon Lord.
Yeah.
What do you got next, Jim?
I got Testament.
Testament.
So Testament came out with a new album at the end of July. It's called Dark Roots of Earth.
Okay.
And I'm just going to give you a quick review because we're going to do more about Testament in future shows.
All right.
Right off the bat, Testament is better today than they have ever been in the past. In the past, they've been labeled as sort of like a post-Metallica sounding band.
Actually, they were signed the day after Cliff Burton of Metallica was tragically killed in a bus accident over in Europe. They had this whole show they were going to put on. The record company was going to come down. They came down. They were the agents for the record company were all bummed out, and they just found out the Testament was so shocked they didn't even want to go on to perform.
Yeah,
because they were great mates with Metallica, And they performed, and afterwards, like, yeah, okay, you got your record contract, congratulations. But it was not really a celebration because of the news that they had learned that had happened 24 hours earlier.
But Dark Roots of Earth is like a 9 out of 10 for me, and I recommend everybody go out and check it out. The vocals are brutal. The sound is brutal. You know my opinion of thrash is, I believe in the 80s, sound engineers did not know how to capture the sound of thrash back in the day because it was new. However, today, fast forward today, the sound, sonically, it can be done. Right. The sound of thrash metal has never sounded so amazing than in, you know, the year 2000 and to today, right?
Well, I think our ears have been accustomed to it too because it's been around for 20 years, so we've all grown to appreciate it a little bit more than maybe when it first came out with bands like Destruction and.
Yes, you know, I recommend everybody go check out Testament's new album. It sounds a lot like their last album, Formation of Damnation.
Formation of Damnation.
Go check it out. The Dark Roots of Earth. Killer tracks like Native Blood, The True American Hate. It's brutal, it's crisp, it's harsh. Chuck Billy has never sounded so great.
And the good news is, if you're a Testament fan, they're touring with Anthrax.
Yes.
They're coming around North America in late summer, early fall. I'm looking forward to seeing that one. I will probably be going. Anthrax will be another great thrash band.
Yeah.
And it's a great double bill.
Yeah.
So go out and check them out. Now, back to the answer. So now if you haven't figured it out yet, put pause. And those who have, let's see if you meant. We got to go from Jethro Tull to the Four Horsemen in 6 steps.
How are we going to do this, Alan? How are we going to do this?
So number 1, Tony Iommi, for a very short period of time,
played with
Jethro Tull.
Yes.
As evident, and it can be witnessed on the Rolling Stones Rock and Roll Circus. Black Sabbath, or Earth as I recall, weren't really doing too much.
Yeah.
Went to play with them. Wasn't really his cup of tea. Missed the camaraderie of the boys in Black Sabbath. Went back. Black Sabbath took off afterwards. Alright, so there's Jethro Tull, Tony Iommi, and Jethro Tull. Tony Iommi, of course, goes on with Black Sabbath, fronted by the one and only Ozzy Osbourne. Ozzy Osbourne quits Black Sabbath, forms Blizzard of Oz. 2 musicians that are up to number 3 here. Rudy Sarzo and Tommy Aldridge.
Yes.
Was part of the Blizzard of Oz band.
Yeah.
Of course, they left when Whitesnake decides they want to do some hair metal, and they joined Whitesnake, and they played with David Coverdale's band. Oh. Now we're up to 4. Now we got to get from here to the 4.
How are we going to do it, Alan? How are we going to do it?
David Coverdale goes on and joins Jimmy Page, because Robert Plant didn't want to, for the ever famous Coverdale Page CD.
Yes.
Well, what does the rest of the band do? What does Rudy Sarzo, and Tommy Aldridge, and Adrian Vandenberg do? They went on to form Manic Eden.
Oh.
Looking for a singer. What do we do for a singer? Well, they tried out a few, landed up with Little Caesar's Ron Young.
Pizza.
Ron Young went on to replace the dead singer from the Four Horsemen. They had a tour booked, and unfortunately, after they recorded their second album, their singer had passed away. Ron Young went and fronted. I witnessed that tour. I was there.
Yeah.
He sang for them on that last tour that I know that they did, and that was pretty much the end of the Four Horsemen. But the Four Horsemen, that's how we go from Jethro Tull to the Four Horsemen.
6 degrees of separation.
Of broken bones.
Here it is on the Metal Boys.
So check it out for another episode and another segment coming to you soon.